Definitely. The the advertiser community is ready to give you their money right now. Brainerd, Minnesota, we launched a pretty straightforward mobile app. You know, it's driven out of an RSS feed. It's got little icons of pictures that go with the story, and you know, it's a very cookie cutter kind of thing. And they had that sold to Edina Realty before the contract was signed. We bundled the website into the deal because we wanted to actually give them some value, because we knew that's where all the traffic was going to be. But the marketplace is ready for this stuff, and it's a really smart move to do. And it's not hard to bring these apps online. You know, the vendors are pretty disciplined. They've got a system. They know how to deal with Apple, which is a problem. They know how to deal with getting you into the distribution channels for Android. One thing I didn't mention is the focus on the big two. We have some apps only in Jacksonville that are for BlackBerry, and we have some apps for Windows Mobile. The new Windows 7 mobile stuff has a market penetration that's best described as rounding error. I mean, they just don't even show up. And the BlackBerry stuff, I mean, BlackBerry, let's face it, BlackBerries are awful. They're very painful to use, and although when you look at the stats, there's a lot of them out there, they're older BlackBerries, and those people are not installing your apps. They're probably not allowed to by corporate policy anyway. So it's been a waste of time. But the two big ones, the two that are really worth chasing are Android and the iPhone, and the vendors make it pretty easy to bring up an app and to pop out a special interest app. The mobile web has a really big problem, and that is, go try to type a URL on your phone. It's painful. You cannot type a URL without misspelling something, and your best deal is go to Google and type in a word and have them find it for you. It's very painful. When you get into the App Store and someone finds and downloads your local application, it's installed right there on the phone, serves as a reminder that you're there. You don't fall out of kind of the sphere of interest. That's a great advantage. We think that we're going to learn to make HTML5 web pages installable, and we'll get there with the open stuff soon. But I would really encourage app experimentation. Some of the vendors that we're using for our phone service also have an iPad app. It's more kind of like a big RSS reader, and if I couldn't do anything else, I would do that. Just to have something, have a stake in the ground. You know, we have a pretty substantial business that we've built using the free model, and while the economy really sucks right now, it's still an important line of business, and we don't want to screw that up. But if there's money to be picked up from asking people to pay for content, we want to find a way to get that. We want to find a way to get that without damaging the existing advertising-based business model. So several years ago, we did some analysis of user behavior, and not a whiteboard here for me. I'm going to draw in space. Okay, this is a graph. Okay. You've got a whole lot of users who come to your website once or twice a month. Huge number. And then as you move to the right and you start looking, how many did you come 2-3 times? it drops precipitously. It goes way down until you get out to, 20 to 30 in that zone. And there you discover your core, loyal, regular users. It's not a very big group. But these are the people who consume your website like people, when I was growing up, read a newspaper. It's a habit. It's an everyday thing. Well, the object of the metered model is to identify those people, target them, and ask them to pay. Clearly, they find enough value in what we're doing to come back every day. They might be willing to pay. These people over here at the high end of the curve, the ones that came once or twice, they didn't see enough value there to come more than once or twice. Don't let them even know you're doing it. Don't interfere with them, because they're actually valuable traffic for advertising display when they're there. You don't want to drive them away. You don't want to cut them off and kill your site traffic. So the metered model lets us behaviorally target the people who are most likely to want to contribute to the success of the enterprise. So that's an argument for having done that. Now that you have the argument, then you have to go and do the math. And at what point, how many pages before I challenge them? What prices are going to work? So we're all experimenting and working through turning the dials up and down and playing with price points and so on to figure out what works there. Overall, it is, I think, playing out pretty much the way we projected, which is to say it's not a big win and it's not wrecking the business either. It's there. The second thing that compelled us to take that model seriously is we knew what Apple was going to do. They were going to yank the rug out from under everybody who wanted to charge for content and insist that you had to go through Apple's store to pay for, and give Apple a 30% cut on everything. You couldn't do your own e-commerce unless you had a pre-existing business relationship and a subscriber model. And so we were very eager to make sure that we had that subscriber model in place on the website so that we could then turn around and use that on the tablet. Apple has, they change their rules about every 30 days, and I'm not even sure what they are this week, but we have done some work with both having Media Spectrum, our tablet vendor, handle the e-commerce, and having Journalism Online handle the e-commerce for the tablet. None of that's actually, I think, turned on right now, because we're still in the free for a limited time period with the tablet application. But the belief is that the people who like newspapers, who like this application, are going to be willing to give us some money. And so it may be bundled with or without a print subscription. There's just a lot of different formulas. I'm kind of not surprised by that, because it's my perception that most of the people in our own building don't really know what we have on the web, don't know the depth and the breadth of it. So if you give them something that they find useful, and it's got your brand on it, and they feel satisfied when they consume it, then they're going to think, well, yeah, I got what I came for. The website, as I said before, the website just goes on forever, and ever and ever and ever. We have things like Spotted. We go out with a digital camera and shoot 1,000 pictures at some public event, no captions, just pictures of faces in the crowd, put it all online. Not a lot of people a day look at that, but the ones who are at the event may go and spend the entire day paging through all those pictures to see their friends. And people right in our own building don't even know that we necessarily did that. So yeah, readers will surprise you. One pleasant surprise we had. I'll tell you, there were a lot of people worried about technical problems and technical support before we did all this stuff. And oh my gosh, what are we going to do when people get confused and they call the newspaper and they want somebody to tell them how to do X, Y, or Z? We've had very little of that, and maybe it's a testimony to the the ease of use of the tablet or the ease of use of the application, or maybe it's just people actually don't want to deal with technical support. I would do almost anything to avoid that myself. But we've had very little engagement with people having problems. Revenue is not huge, but we have had, I think, an overall positive reception from the local advertising community. On any given day, you go through the Chronicles site and app, and in addition to the ads that were in the newspaper, which may be upsold to touch it and go to their website, or touch it and get a video, we have interstitials between pages that are full page, and there's typically 2 or 3 of those a day. It's not a lot of money. It's not a lot of distribution. We're not putting it in front of a lot. We've got a couple of thousand users is all at this point. But the reaction from the ad community has been positive, and I think it's back to it's the sizzle factor of this stuff. It's very persuasive. But we don't want to just sell sizzle. We want to actually deliver some steaks. So we've got them around next month. So we're trying to construct offers that aren't just take their money. We bundle it in with other kinds of ad services.
You require registrations?
We require registration to use the app. We don't require registration on the website until you get hit by one of those challenges that's based on your frequency of use. When we tie, if we can tie this tablet together with journalism online, then it's the same account identity and so on. But exactly how this stuff is bundled is still a moving target. We've granted discounts to print subscribers for web subscriptions, bundled it at a lower price. Some other people in the industry have said, heck with that, I'm not going to bother with that complexity, and this is product A, this is product B, you get what you pay for. I think the jury's still out on what makes sense there. Oh, media spectrum is, I don't know how large they are in this country, but most of the existing vendors have something that they're doing in this space. We looked at DTI and what they were offering us for a unified online-offline system a couple of years ago, and it was expensive, Media Span, Baseview, with whom we've had a relationship for a long time. The decision that we made to go with Media Spectrum was really about getting us all onto this cloud platform, so we could start to talk about the kinds of things that Gannett and Tribune and so on are doing in terms of centralizing some copy editing, or having a page layout done in Augusta on the behalf of Athens, that kind of thing. And we couldn't do any of that until we moved them onto common platform. The tablet thing was just a kind of a happy accident that they were thinking along the same lines that we were.